Get your day started right. From our shack to yours, this is Coffee and Ham Radios. We are live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ladies and
Nailed
gentlemen, we
Start.
are live.
There's
How about
the
that?
the unofficial glass over there.
Mugs up, gentlemen.
Mugs up.
Mine's in the other room.
What is
Ham
that? The Nebraska Wildcats or something? The Nebraska Griffins?
No, it's Lord of the Flies.
No, it's not. It's Game of Thrones, son.
Game of Thrones,
Game
same
of
thing.
Thrones. One of those things.
It was purple. I just after that.
Cinderella.
This
thought
is
it might
this is
have
the
been
this is the dire wolf of the north.
Yep.
Right.
That's how you get APRS on a pang.
And by the old gods and the new, I thought you were a fan, Jim.
I am a fan. I didn't see the dang dire wolf. I just saw some purple.
That's because you've come down with an illness, a mystery illness, right?
Yeah, it could be gas station COVID. I don't know.
Gas station COVID.
Gas station good.
I got that this morning, along with my sushi and a bucket of chicken.
Right? I mean, what's wrong with getting sushi from the gas station? That's
You were up there
pretty
getting sushi and your supplements.
Yes,
Right.
yes. The Delta, what is it? The Delta 8?
I'll tell you what, man. The gas station up here on the corner has got more. I don't know if you want to call them prescription medications, but they treat all these illnesses than the dang on CVS. I mean, I'm like, I should just start coming. Will you take my HSA card?
right.
The medicine man.
Well, see what's funny about the gas stations around here, and I don't really understand all this. They sell a lot of things for energy boost and male enhancement and all that stuff.
Why do you know about that
Vitality.
stuff?
Why do you
For
know about that?
vitality.
I don't care. I just don't care.
He's like, I took it before the show. That's how I perform for all you
Right.
people.
Right, I took,
Well, I'm even
I took
here.
some rhino horn.
I ground up kitten eyeballs right before the show.
Horny goat weed. Some good
But
stuff.
they also Alabama is one of the 2 states in the United States that doesn't have the freaking lottery. So my wife is probably driving over to Georgia later today to buy us lottery tickets. But
Check the news, man. Somebody from Luck, Wisconsin won the Mega Millions.
you high.
It wasn't
She
me.
checked this morning already. She said, "Oh, it rolled over again." Well, it's
So
up
what
over
is
$1
it?
billion.
What is it
Not,
at?
not Powerball, Mega Millions.
Mega Millions? It's over $1 billion.
The Mega Millions is.
Yes. So you
Might
need to
have
go
to
to your
get-
gas station again.
So, but the thing is that gambling is wickedness, and that's why they banned it from Alabama.
Yeah,
Yes,
there's
that's
a lot of
probably
gambling
exactly
up here.
why. The Baptists think it's terrible, and the Democrats down here say, "Oh, it makes poor people sad
Poor.
or something." I don't really know.
Morning, Steve.
Yeah,
Steve.
Steve, what's up, man?
And right, Morton Jeebus would not approve. That's exactly correct. So
That was Lionel.
That's the line.
I don't. I saw the back end of the comment because it wasn't.
It started with an L. It must be from Sweden.
No, I saw the FH. I don't know what it was. Whatever. Lionel, sorry. Hey.
Hey,
See,
Lionel.
he's sick.
This window was blocking that window. Just calm down.
He's
Jim's
sick.
not feeling well.
Not his
I'm
normal
not.
sickness either. It's this is something else.
Surge sickness.
So at the gas stations down here, they sell like some kind of fake lottery ticket. They're all in a roll in the little plastic roll off thing, and I don't really understand what they're doing.
That's not TP.
No, it's not TP.
Is that your dog, Chuck?
I thought it was Jim, but yes, it is
No,
my.
it ain't Jim.
It's my little Chihuahua. I don't know. He's got something wrong with him.
So I don't know. There's all sorts of weird things.
I feel
you can
for
do
him
at
now.
Gas stations down here in Alabama.
Well, you gave him the
K5YBY,
sickness.
Joe is in Mississippi.
No,
That's the other state that don't do it.
Scratch offs.
You buy those?
Law man, Joe Brett. He's
how-
a,
Where do you
he
go
doesn't
catch
buy them.
those?
They comp him. He doesn't buy them.
Where you buy them?
He shows up in
goes
his
in there.
khakis.
Gets a free donut and some scratch offs.
And his Durango. No, sir. No, sir. Your money's not good here, sir. Like you think that's going to buy my favor. Ha, ha, ha.
Oh, you got lottery? What? How did the Baptists in Mississippi come together like that?
he said they got the scratch off.
So we do have a ham court topic for today, but it's not the one y'all are thinking about. About 5.5 seconds before the show starts, Jim comes on and he says, I'm not feeling good, guys.
I did that
Can't
at
make the
4:30
show.
this morning, jerk.
So here we are, the three of us going, what are we going to do? This was Jim's topic. This was Jim's day to run the show. He's up in the corner over there, that corner.
Yeah.
Producer.
Y'all act like Ape and you and Chuck can't do the show anyway.
Not
What
without
is
you,
that?
man.
What is that logo on your shirt, Jim? Is that a turkey?
It was a turkey hunt that the governor's office sponsored.
Dang, rubbing elbows with the governor?
How can we see you? That thing looks
I'm kind of
green.
a
How
big
can we
deal.
can actually see you?
Some of it green screen, some of it doesn't.
Yeah, it's kind
Yeah.
of strange.
It's camouflage, son. That's what it does all
That's
the time.
right. Meld in.
Oh yeah,
Right?
like your
See,
nipples are
what-
sticking out. That's about all I can see. Everything else is
Right.
camouflage.
Right.
It must be cold.
It's cold here. It ain't cold in Alabama.
No. I think it's like 45 or 50 already.
Yeah, I got my point across. Don't worry.
That's right.
I just want to know where Jim was
Alexa,
hanging
what
out
is
to
the
get sick.
temperature in Luck, Wisconsin this morning?
Everybody at home's playing along now, Jim.
Are they all posting the temperatures in the chat?
No, I mean like he just
No,
fired off
not
everybody's
that fast.
Alexa at home.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I hear
well,
the
let's
one in the next room yakking away, too.
go on,
Do
Jim.
you?
Kick the show off. What are we talking about today?
We're talking about testing equipment with the Nano VNA prior to using your test stuff with the Nano VNA. So Ape has done a ton of videos on the Nano VNA, and I've done a bunch of videos with like a spectrum analyzer and oscilloscope and whatever. So Steve and I were at the Ham Fest
We were.
at Huntsville back in
We were.
August,
Holding hands
and
and,
I bought a
skipping.
bunch. I bought a bunch of connectors from some guy at the flea market, right?
Like behind, he's behind. Hey, buddy, come here.
Totally
Right. It was
legit.
next. Well, it was next to the sushi and the USB cables.
right?
Nice.
So I got a deal on a bunch of attenuators and terminators and whatnot.
Doodads.
They're not marked. He says, I guess they work probably, and I think the whole wad of these things I bought was maybe $20. I don't know. So I don't know why I'm quieter. I have no idea. I have literally no idea. Let me turn up my gain. So anyway,
It's his mannerisms.
right, it is.
He's just a gentle soul.
I feel like 30 dB down this morning anyway.
We'll take that attenuator out. Never mind.
Right. Ah,
hooked it up to your mic.
I didn't say where.
funny. So, how do you test these things, especially something like an attenuator? Because Ape has said in his videos when he did Nano VNA and Tiny SA stuff, and I've said it in mine, you can't just put your HT power into your Nano VNA because you will let the magic smoke and light out.
Good morning, Lester.
I think the input, what is the max input level for a Nano VNA? Ape, is it?
I'd have to look it up. But see, the thing is like with my Nano VNA, and this is actually a Tiny SA. I'm pretending it's a Nano VNA.
Close.
You go from channel 0 into channel
It's
1.
an ultra.
And when you do that, that's the signal that you feed in there. Now you can adjust your signal coming out of some Nano VNAs. You can adjust it up or down depending upon what you're measuring. So if you're measuring something with very high impedance, you might want to boost your power up. But you don't use an external power source with a Nano VNA. And part of the reason for that is that in order for it to do its calculation, it has to know what the starting signal is, and then whatever the delta is applied to it in order to do the calculations correctly. So with a Tiny SA, you use external power sources all the time, and I think this one is 10 dB. I think the Ultra's 10 dB.
I think
I'd have
that's
to look.
what I was thinking.
I can't read it. I don't know where my glasses are. I was looking this morning. I
Put your old
couldn't
man
find
glasses on.
If only you had
Can't
old man
find it.
glasses to
Oh,
find
yeah.
your old man glasses.
They're on your
These
forehead.
these old man glasses, I'm not sure they're strong enough. Let's see here.
Uh-oh.
It doesn't say. But in other exciting news, I have another Tiny SA Ultra coming. It should be here today.
A second ultra?
Second Ultra.
You're going to plug
You
them
might
into each
have
other?
You might have a problem.
I think so.
Well, I do. I've got a few problems, to be honest with
If
you.
you plug them into each other, do they make infinite energy?
That's what I was thinking. That's like free energy or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta cross them though.
Right.
Martin saying, why do they write so small? Exactly.
Yeah, it's their
Exactly.
fault.
Yeah.
It's a conspiracy they've been changing for the last 40 years.
You can use your phone to read it, right?
So when my point was, when you buy stuff like this, you don't necessarily know that this attenuator you got is it really 40 dB or 10 dB
Right.
or whatever. And if you hook up your HF radio into a Nano VNA without a darn good attenuator, you're gonna smoke the the Nano VNA.
So you got some of these attenuators handy you were talking about?
No, because I wasn't planning on being on the show because I don't feel good.
You see, you had like that
Whoa,
nice one. That,
so there.
you was on the show.
Does everybody in the chat know what an attenuator does? Do you guys just assume that or what?
It might not be a bad idea to explain it up.
Explain that up. Oh, he's out for now.
So, folks, this is what an attenuator looks like. It looks a little bit like a dummy load because it's trying to take your RF energy and convert it to heat. And when it converts it to heat, that heat's got to go somewhere. And the more fins, the more heat-sinking material it has, the longer you can use it. And you can start to actually feel them get warm. So that attenuator is good for 40 dB, and I think it said 30 watts. I just put it away. Let me get it back out.
No, that's not 30 watts.
10 watts. 10 watts, 40 dB.
Yeah, 10 watts.
It said 3 gigahertz. That's where I got the 3 from.
Yeah, and notice it says DC to 3 gigahertz. So most attenuators will have a range that they're useful on. And they're generally
DC and
labeled
AC would
with
be
that.
different, right?
Do what, Chuck?
DC and AC would be different?
Yes.
Just asking questions for people.
Yes. You don't want DC going into your spectrum analyzer, Tiny SA, Nano VNA. So that attenuator is 30 dB, which is the amount that it will squash the signal down. And then the other thing, like he said, is they're rated in some amount of watts. So that's the 3 parameters you're generally looking at with an attenuator. Now, like the videos I dropped out yesterday, the Hamfest ones, I have no idea what the wattage rating is on any of those because there's no sticker on it. There's no model number. So the thing with it is, just put some juice into it, and when it starts getting too hot or it looks like the sun is right there, then maybe you should back off a little bit.
Oh.
Yeah, so what's crazy is like
I mean, if you're testing the signal, go ahead.
Just so you guys know.
But see, like my sticker's peeling off
birthday.
on this thing. And once that's gone, and this is the 40 dB, 10 watts, DC to 3 gigahertz. But like I'll write stuff on them with like a Sharpie, so that way I know what it is, because I don't want to forget. Like this one, I wrote 5 watts on here. This is a variable attenuator, and each one of these has a different value.
Oh, that's
when
awesome.
you push them in, they add up. And
Right.
this goes up to 90. I think it goes up to 90 dB.
So that what does one like that cost, Dave?
This was like $75, give or take. But
But,
they're
yeah,
they're generally
How
cheaper.
many different ones? How many different attenuations?
It goes from 1 to 90. You can pretty much do every combination in between.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now, this is affordable because it's 5 watts. When you start to go up in the power scale, they
Right.
get expensive fast. So when Jim was talking all about attenuators a couple days ago, I went on eBay, and I ordered one. I ordered a 100 watt 40 dB attenuator. So it's just like this but bigger, and it does 100 watts. That damn thing was $99.
Yeah.
Ouch. But you can get them really cheap at a Hamfest.
Yeah. And that was kind of the point when I did the videos, is you don't really know what you're getting from that guy at the flea market, the female NN connector that I had looked good. I mean, it's like stainless steel. The thing is built like a tank, but I don't know what the attenuation on it is or anything else. Oh, where'd he go? There you go.
Man, I started coughing. Listen, I'm turning the camera off because I don't want to be caught mid cough. Joe Brett getting a free meme or something.
Today's Peekaboo session is sponsored by the Smoking Ape. Peekaboo.
peekaboo.
Theodore,
He's got me living in fear.
Yeah, he's fast. So Theodore has a question about what's the electrical diagram of an attenuator.
It's all resistors in here.
Yeah,
That
it's
was what I
basically a
was-
resistor.
Yep.
Yeah.
We did a Ham Nuggets episode, Jim and I, where we tore one apart. I got one at the Yuma Ham Fest in Arizona, and you can get them, really, really cheap, like less than $20 at a Ham Fest used, because it's one of those things that if you want it, you want it, and if you want to get rid of it, there's nobody that wants it.
Right. And Craig, that one I got is I love it. That thing is great.
Is that that
And
big
it
black
can
one you have?
wave.
Yeah, and it can stop a bullet if you had to. I mean, I'm just saying.
That thing's huge.
So one of the things
That's what
though
she
is
said.
that
There
with
it is.
with the cell wave, and I'm not saying the cell wave is bad by any stretch of the imagination.
What?
But the response that you get when you in your video, right? So you had like negative 70 dB, and then it goes up, it goes up, and it goes up. I like an attenuator that has a flat response over the frequency span for which you're going to test.
Right.
And the reason is because I want to be able to tell if I have spurs or I have harmonics. So I may have them, but the attenuator's masking. Like, so if I'm at say 14 megahertz, and I do a test, if I have a linear or an exponential growth rate on my response, I might not see spurs that I would normally see if my response was flat. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and the other thing I would say about the cell wave is the cell wave's not technically an attenuator. It's
Right.
it's technically a dummy load with an RF tap. So it's not
Right.
exactly the same thing. And you're right, exactly correct. So some of the other ones that I tested in that video, smaller, low power ones like the ones y'all have shown, the response that I showed was, I mean, it was very flat across, an entire range from HF up through UHF, which is what you want because you'll get real consistent results.
So,
But if you're testing in a small area, right? If I'm not jumping around a whole lot, that curve, while it may look like that, going from 0 to 30 megahertz, if I'm fooling around at 10 meters, it's not going to be significantly different.
well, let's just say you're transmitting and somebody accuses you of being a splatter box, right? So you could use the cell wave to take a look at your signal and see if you have splatter. So splatter is when your signal's fatter and you have peaks coming out the sides of your passband, right? Now harmonics or spurs are when you have other products of mixing going on, and they're being transmitted typically outside of even your bandpass, right? So they're even further away. Like 14 would be on 28 megahertz, for example.
Right.
So it's just for a different job, right?
Pretty much.
Somebody's saying, what's the difference between a dummy load and attenuator? A dummy load attenuates to zero, right?
Well, so
There's
an
no- there's
attenuator
no
will let
output.
the signal through
Let some
on the
amount of
connection
signal through.
for it.
Right.
A dummy
There's no
load
output.
usually it's just a dead end. The cell wave happens to be both a dummy load and an RF tap.
That attenuates. There is attenuation on the tap. It's not an attenuator, but it gives you a very highly attenuated signal on that BNC RF tap port. Right.
Yeah.
And as far as the dummy load, it's just going to be typically a 50 ohm load across the connectors. So
Yeah.
the signal, when you put out a signal, it's not going to bounce back, and you should have an SWR of around very close to 1.0 with a decent dummy load.
Yeah. So these are you showed some of these little attenuators in your. Now these are 2-watt attenuators. I can't tell you how much they attenuate because I can't see. But one thing that you can do is that if I have 2 of these, I can hook them together, right? And that would give me. Let's just say they're both 10 dB attenuators. So if I hook them together, I now have 20 dB of attenuation. And the other thing that's neat about it is that, so say my first one attenuates at 2 watts. So that will take that down to, I don't know, let's say a 1/10 of a watt of juice that's left. I can use this to continue to bring down the stronger signal. Like I could put like this one's only rated for 10 watts, right? So I can take 10 watts down, and then I can add this on and take another 10 watts down. And that way I attenuated 20 watts. Like if I have an output device that's like that. Does that make sense?
That makes
I don't
sense.
think it does. I don't think I said that right.
So the first one takes the power.
Yes.
So I see what you're saying. You're right. You can add them together. So if I have 2 2s, then I've essentially got 4 dB of attenuation. But a 2-watt one in front of a 100-watt signal is going to have a very short half-life.
Right, but I could take the 100-watt. So like the reason I bought the 100-watt attenuator.
Yes, right.
Because I want to bring 100 watts all the way down.
Right.
But if I bring it down 40 dB, it's still too strong to go into the tiny SA. So I need to put another attenuator
Correct.
to bring that wattage down.
That's the way. Yeah, I think the way you said it the first time was
Yeah, no, it's early, son.
It's
Are
early.
you
I'm
thinking
high
it's
on
like
cold
a
medicine, so
Are you thinking it's a linear thing, like 30 watt attenuator plus a 10 watt attenuator is 40 watts, or is it 30 down? So I put 5 in, I take 30 down, and then I take whatever the product is of that, the result
Yes.
of that, and then I take that down again.
Oh, I see what he's
if
saying.
he puts in 100 first, he's going to attenuate 100 dB off his signal. For example, well,
I
that's
mixed
a bad
lots of
example.
dB, so sorry.
right, because it's 100 watt, 40 dB. So I'm going to take 40 dB off my signal.
Right.
But that's still not enough, so I'm going to take another 10 off.
Right.
But that's like a 40 and a 10. It's not like a 50 dB attenuator because
Right.
you
Right,
lose the logarithmic math there.
Yeah.
That's the way they used to try to pay us.
He's
If you-
taking
if you
10
take-
off of what he already took off the 40. Right. Yeah.
If you take your arrays in
My brain
increments, it actually ends up being more because next time your 10% is more.
Right, if we
Yeah,
take your
well,
money,
just give it to me now.
right, just give it to me all up
raises.
front.
But
that's the thing is,
doesn't
like, we're
matter how
gonna
much
take
you
this-
lost in that meantime, right?
We're going to take this portion of your salary and spread it out through the course of the year because it's better for you. And I'm like, what would actually be better is if you just gave me the whole year's salary right
And
now.
I'll spread it out.
And let me spread it out.
All over the mattress. And I'll just roll around in it.
Yeah, I
Craig
can never-
Craig is mentioning he's bought some attenuators off of eBay, and that is a great place to find all sorts of good stuff.
is.
I just
Yeah,
scored
Theodore,
a,
I'm mixing all kinds
I
of
scored
units.
a really nice one the other day. Off
Probably
eBay.
get out a whiteboard. Draw some of this stuff out. Uh-oh. Abe's got his slanting
have-
glasses on.
And it was a Pasternak. It was a Pasternak attenuator I got.
So this one's 15 dB. And then this one is 30 dB. This one right here, I had no idea. I thought they were much lower than that, but I hadn't used these in a while because I haven't had.
But they're low
had
wattage,
any-
though, right?
Yeah, they're 2 watts each. So what I'll do is I'll use these. I'll take the output of my Baofeng and I'll feed it in here, right, and on the 30 dB one, and then I can put my thing on 1 watt, and then I can feed that into my tiny SA and check the harmonics.
Right.
But I would always suggest you do at least 40 dB of attenuation if you're going to do that.
And the thing is with doing this, if you're looking at it with a tiny SA or a Nano VNA or a spectrum analyzer, you're not necessarily usually looking at how much power. That's a different topic. You're just wanting to look at the signal to see, are the harmonics clean or whatever. You don't need full power to look at that. You will see that clearly with an attenuated signal. Now, you can figure out how much power you're putting out, but you need to have your attenuators figured out first and then go from there. And you talked about that a little bit on the video you put out yesterday, there, Primate.
What did I talk about?
What video
You're
did
the
I
one
put
that
out
talked to-
yesterday?
He don't even remember.
No, the video put out yesterday was a sensitivity test, right?
Yes. So you were talking about, hell, I don't remember how you said it.
Well, yeah.
But you knew how much attenuation you had. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, because I needed 93 dB of attenuation, right?
Right.
Negative 93. So I used a 40 dB attenuator first. So I only had to generate a signal at negative 53 dB in order to get an S9 input into the radio. And people say, hey, Ape, that's crazy. Why would you do that? And the reason is that when you start talking like negative 93 dB and below, it's a really, really, really weak signal. And the stability of the tiny SA starts to falter at negative 110 dB, which is somewhere around like an S5 or 6. And so the thing was that by putting the physical attenuator in there to lower the value of the signal, I don't have to push the tiny SA as hard to create that low of a signal. And it gives me more I guess you would say, dynamic range to play with. So here's what I just did. Let me do this. I have a Nano VNA here, and I just have the output from channel 0 going through and going into channel 1. Can you see that?
Yeah.
And so when we do a sweep there, we should have a flat response because we're not inserting any loss into that, and then we're also not attenuating any signal. So let me pull up Nano VNA Saver, which somehow I've got it open twice, and I didn't know you could do that. Let me just do a quick. No.
Thank you for holding. Please hold.
There's too many damn windows in this. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. If only you had another monitor.
I know. Now I got to share screen.
I'm gonna ship you
share
one,
window,
Abe.
Nano VNA saver.
I'm gonna ship him one. I got like 3 or 4 sitting out in the shop. in a
I've got it.
box.
I've got one, but I just don't have the. I don't have the.
Oh, Jim, send
the
him one of your
daggone
mounts.
Space.
Send him one of
Yeah.
your mounts.
Oh, sweet. There you go. You can put it on the wall.
Mounts.
Let's see, a maximum of 10. So can you see the there's a dotted line at the top of this, all zeros?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's where your markers are. Yep.
Yeah, so this is a it's an S21 gain. So gain is either positive or negative, and when you talk about 2.1, it means we're measuring at the second port from the signal coming out of the first port. The Nano VNAs name all their stuff. They name them channels. Like, so instead of ports, it's channel 1 or channel 0. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and put the attenuator in, and then we should see the difference. So hold on 1 second while I do this.
Hold on to your butts.
You're gonna see something really special here.
You're live.
Hold on.
You're going to see
Your
this
lives will
line
be
move.
Forever
The line is going
changed.
to go from 0 to minus 30.
Actually, I think it's going to go to minus. There's the 40 dB
I was
attenuator.
just making it up, but yeah. We hope will it make it all the way down to 40, or will it only do 39?
Well, see, and this is a relatively small span that we're doing here. We're going from like 6.5 megahertz to 30, and everybody be like, "Well, why are we doing that?" And that's because that's the calibration I have set.
Today on Ham Radio, The Last Frontier, Smoke and Ape tries an attenuator with his tiny SA.
So me to do this. So here's the Nano VNA, and then we're coming out. Signal's going up, and it's coming through here, and then back in, so we can do our measurement. And let me go back. I'm like all professional over here.
You are. Is that what you want?
Yep. So now let me go back to that on my screen, and I gotta go ahead and hit sweep. And there you go. You can see it drop down to 40. See that?
No, that's not 40. That's
Yeah,
minus
it's-
39. Actually, it's minus 37.051.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's not quite 40.
That's good enough. Good enough for ham work.
Now see, I got to take a look at this because I don't like those dots, and I got to fill in the lines, and I don't remember where I do that.
It's in display setup, I believe.
That's where I am. I'm in display setup, and then I'm looking at.
Because that
Show
part of your screen
lines.
ain't sharing.
There we go.
There it is.
Yeah, so that's bouncing around there a little bit. That could be the Nano VNA, could be the wires, it could be the attenuator. But what's neat about that is that so now I know that it needs. So I have around 40 dB of attenuation, and if I did want to inject the signal,
Oh, we're dancing.
Take your coastal waves.
Hey,
wires.
you do need some milk.
I think
Balls.
he's going out and testing stuff today.
He needs to calorie up so he can go out and stay warm.
He needs some
That's right.
milk.
thank you.
Gonna go out on the pier
Thank you,
or
Walt.
something, I think.
Walt, appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah.
And Martin wants chocolate milk.
Well, somebody keep talking. I'm gonna put the variable attenuator in line now.
So, returning from our commercial break, the Smoke and Ape is going to attempt to insert another attenuator in line with the current attenuator setup.
So attenuation is like in ham radio period. In TO is going to change. It sounds like TO is going to change his system when he goes on the road.
Yeah.
His radio, he's going to downsize,
I'm gonna have to.
but he may want some power someday.
I'm gonna have
And
to.
He may have to look into some attenuation to be able to drive to get the power he needs out of the new amp that he's going to buy.
Why would I
It's
need
attenu-
attenuation for that?
Chuck, I don't. What?
Attenuation is how they attenuate your amps, and by changing the attenuation, it takes. I don't totally understand it. I know enough just to be dangerous, but the attenuation keeps, like when you put 50 watts in, it attenuates your signal in. Right? Does that make sense? And when you put say you have a 10 watt radio into a regular amp, it won't get you said 1,000 watts out, right? But there's ways of making that happen, and I'm sure somebody in here is smart enough to tell that. But part of it. But Craig and I were talking a little bit about attenuation into your amps. So Attenuation is all over ham radio.
Yes.
Just saying.
Well,
And a common use is on your radio if you've got somebody broadcasting on their hex beam with their amp.
You want to quiet them down.
You can turn on your attenuation and
Good luck with
turn
that
their
radio.
signal right on down.
Well, dance cam.
Yep.
TC
geez.
Fits.
you got
My
it,
neighbor.
James.
His vanity call. W6TCF.
Oh, that's right. He's got a new one.
Thank you, TC.
He needs some milk.
I got to meet him a couple years ago out in the parking lot of Pacificon.
Did you get his autograph?
Yes, I did.
Excellent.
I think I had a picture too. If I remember right.
Magnum
while.
VNAs.
I would love to have one, and when this gig pays for that, I'm all over it, man.
What are you trying to get?
A Magnum VNA instead of a Nano VNA.
Well, listen, I'm telling you right now, Joe Brad is saying I got a new move. I've been doing that for about 4 or 5 shows, Joe Brad. So what you're saying is that you haven't been watching, son.
Yeah. Hef's got a good point. You use attenuators when you're doing fox hunting because as you get closer and closer to the signal, your receiver's like, yep, that fox is everywhere around us. When you're across town, it's like, it's over there, it's over there. And when you're right up
Yes.
on it, it's like, it's
everywhere.
It's everywhere. You can turn around. I took the antenna off. I stood on the other side of the truck.
So what you'll see people do is they'll hold their HT up to their chest like this, and use their body to attenuate a signal to when they're doing fox hunting.
Joe
so I
almost
got
got the side shot for the mug.
Yeah, I got the variable attenuator hooked up. So like when you push the different buttons, it'll change. So like right now, if I hit that, we have to wait for a sweep.
That had buttons on it? I didn't even see the buttons.
Yeah, to turn on different attenuation. All right. -8.
So yeah, so I just pushed the 8 button. Now if I hit 20 at the same time, it should after the sweep, it should come back to 28.
Ooh, wait for it. The suspense is building.
Dun, dun,
Yeah, I don't know why it's taking so long. I might have a lot of data points or something set up.
You have.
Come on, son. Let me pull it up real quick.
I think you attenuated. There it
There it
is.
is.
28.
There it is. 28.
And so that's one of the reasons why you might want something like a variable attenuator. We can go down another 20.
Dun, 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 dun.
He needs some milk.
I forgot.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
Never been harder to dance in my life. I thought it was bad being in a club. Try being in a 4-inch square YouTube stream.
And so, like, and I can also turn them off, and then
it's
once
all
it
head and
resweeps, it'll go back up or down.
Yeah.
There you go. So
Now,
it's
can
all in all
you
very
set
exciting
this
stuff.
app to keep like with AntScope? I can do multiple traces, right? Sweeping for SWR or whatever, and it'll keep my histories and show them in different colors or something. Can you show?
Yeah, so I just did set as a reference, so then I can do this like that,
There you go.
There you go. Yeah.
and then you can see the delta between the two.
Right. So now, if you do a third one at some other value, you would keep those.
I'd have to, yeah. You can keep adding, but like I can reset the reference,
Okay.
or I can set the new one as the current, so I could do
As
this
the reference.
and then I could go down another 8, like that.
Okay.
And we got another. Did we
James.
dance for?
Oh,
We got
Jason.
another one.
Jason says, "Why don't y'all dance?"
Thank you, Jason.
Jason, appreciate it, man.
Like that parrot.
We got another one after that.
Oh my lord.
Oh my gosh.
He
Craig,
needs some milk.
Thank you, Craig.
I'm gonna have a gallon of milk before the end of the show.
That's
I'm gonna
right.
have to pee.
I already
Hope
have
you're
to
not
be,
lactose intolerant.
but I'm a professional.
He needs some milk.
I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking that we also need
When
to
we have like
maybe-
guests on here. Like sometimes we actually have like legitimate scientists, educated, respectable people on here.
Right. With jobs.
I can only imagine what they're thinking. Like the whole time they're like, please don't get it. Don't no super chat. You know what I mean? Because they're gonna
Well, Jason, I was just thinking about that. I think there need to be new dance levels, right? So $2 doesn't get us, robust of a dance. I mean, if you're just going to give me $1, you ain't going to get to see nothing. Just saying. For $25, I'll keep my clothes on.
Jim's stingy.
Yeah, and Walt, you got an open invite anytime. Anytime you want to come on.
Is he back? Is he back?
He's
back.
He's-
He just posted a
dropped a
video,
video or
where he
two.
was down in he was in the Kitty Hawk Pier
Yeah.
having a good time. I was surprised that they let him operate on the Kitty Hawk Pier. To be honest with you, I figured that
Yeah.
somebody would have walked out there and been like, "What in the tarnation you trying to do, boy?" But in his video, he's got his. It looks like a local woman. Yeah, walks up there and she's standing behind him.
Yeah.
Looking
Are you
at him.
fishing?
Yeah.
Well, he's already set off Karen once right at his HOA across the way.
She's
So
You're
yeah.
interfering with my programs. I'm trying to watch The Price is Right, and
I'll never know if they got the grand prize.
yeah,
Exactly.
They didn't. That's how that show works. They didn't.
They lost.
they got Craig saying to get Alan Wokey. He's been on Nugget.
He's been on.
He's been a Nugget.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know,
Season
that
one.
Price is Right guy was on was the golfing movie.
Drew Carey or the other guy.
What was it? I'll think of it in a minute.
You talking about Happy Gilmore?
Happy Gilmore, yeah. I watched
I don't
that thing
know.
a
Bob
bunch of
Barker
times.
was like 117 when he died. I
He
think
looked
he's
pretty
dead.
good
I
in
don't
that.
know.
He whooped up on him a little bit, you know.
I
I
thought
think that was Bob Barker.
it was Bob
Yeah.
Barker. It was hilarious. Like 'cause
Oh,
he
that
hit him,
different guy?
then all of a sudden Bob's hand comes up and gets him. I didn't know he was dead.
He may not be. I don't know.
So Walt
no
is going to
idea.
miss Hamcation. Walt is not going to Hamcation. He's going back to Poland on February 13th.
Ooh, look at that. I'm gonna miss it too. Just saying.
I'm not. I'm going.
I know you're not.
I'm not.
You want to
I'm
give
going.
an up? You want to give an update?
Well, I'm
on
gonna
that,
be there.
Theo?
Yeah, we're getting in Wednesday night. We're going to be at the fairgrounds on Thursday, talking to all the vendors. And depending on how many vendors are set up on Thursday, depends on how long we stay. And then Friday, we'll see all the early birds. And then Saturday, we'll be doing a live stream. Jim's got a gimbal on the way, so
Jim, it
Yeah.
looks like you got a schedule already, Jim.
Yeah.
It looks like it's
Yeah,
set up.
Jim's camera
I'll put
work
it
at
on.
Huntsville. It looked like he was passing pine cones.
Yeah,
It was
most
so
cameras
shaky,
do better than
you
that.
know.
You must have what camera did you take that time?
It was
iPhone.
an iPhone 13 Pro Max. That
I've
was
done stuff with my iPhone, and you can't tell it wasn't on a gimbal. I don't know
okay.
what you were
All
doing.
right, that's great. Thank you.
Well, I private messaged
Jim's
Theo
getting
and I was
sensitive,
like,
Chuck.
give him
Shut up,
him a
Chuck.
shot of liquor. Right,
Here's
I
a
said,
shot,
give him a
guys.
shot of liquor or something to take the shakes away.
Yeah, it wasn't the camera. It was the gym.
I'll have to send you one I did with my nephew. Like, you didn't use a gimbal for that? I'm like,
No,
just
Chuck, I don't
walked.
need to see it. It's fine. I believe you.
I'm showing
You're
it
awesome.
to you. You're
No.
seeing it.
The oversharing light is on.
Like I'm sitting here playing cards with my brother's kids or something. You nerve-wracking sons of bitches.
Oh,
Jim's
Kurt,
proud of
Bob
his
Barker
son.
is still alive at 99. I told you that guy was.
He looked pretty good in that movie. To tell you the truth. for a guy
Yes,
his
45.
age.
Weird. I have not seen a Wawa since last year at Hamcation. So that is
their
stop
coffee
number
good?
one out of the airport. It's
You got to go to Buc-ee's. Like if
It's
you're down
lame,
there,
yeah.
you got to go to Buc-ee's.
it's the experience, Chuck. You go in, you get treated like royalty at the deli. They individually build your subs to order. They have fantastic freshly brewed coffee.
Sounds like
All the
You
USB
got-
cables you can want.
You got to go to Buc-ee's. Like when I went there, I couldn't believe it. Like it was nicer than my hotel. I was like, I should stay here at the Buc-ee's. We
Well,
had
yeah, you just
clean
fall in the plushy
bathrooms,
pit.
all
Clean,
kinds of food.
Yeah.
Oh,
We're
Clint
staying
Pass.
likes his food.
Hold on. I think we need a dance just for this. I think we need like a special song for something like this. You see this? Where did it go? Ham radio.
Clint,
My
that's
test.
awesome, bro.
I pass. Fantastic.
Clint.
Very
Great
good.
for you.
Yeah.
Now you can make a contact with the Smoking Abe if you had a call sign.
I don't know about all this stuff.
Congratulations, Clint. Knew you could do it.
You get that one for my intro, man.
He needs some milk.
Buc-ee's gas station, Walt Disney World. That is correct.
Chris is here.
What happened?
Oh, digital analog ham is here.
Hey,
What's
Chris.
up, Chris?
So we.
Welcome to the Illuminati.
That's right. We are where we are staying is right across from a Wawa.
OPSEC.
Oh, Wawa. That's all I said. Oh,
Okay.
Wawa. How many Wawas would there be?
You might have. There's a lot,
One.
but you might have already said too much. I don't know.
No, that's all I said. Buy a Wawa.
You know, there are some crazy people that have hunted down the
Man.
Smoking Apes call sign and found it. You think they
Right,
will
you
find
don't-
us?
Well, that's
You
true.
don't want the groupies to show up.
Right.
James is right. The toilets are nice at Bucky's. If you got to peel one off, that's the place to do it because I mean it's clean. they
Got him,
what?
Jim.
You almost killed Jim. I think so.
right.
He was mid swaller.
But
Mid-swallow.
I'm being serious. They got like a full-time bathroom attendant in there, making sure
You have to tip
everything's
him?
on the up and up. Yeah.
The last
No.
place I was at with the full-time bathroom attendant was like that club in
club?
Atlanta.
Was it-
Yeah.
Club,
Chubbies.
the gentleman's club,
Yeah.
I think it was the Pink Pony or something like that. I don't know.
the pink pony.
Crazy horse.
That might have been
Apes dealers calling.
Ape Call
Yeah,
Man,
Or
I
is
get them
Pete-
all the time.
or his PO.
Right. It's people calling and they want money. Everybody trying to put their hand in my pocket. I'm like, we're collecting donations for.
oh, I know.
You are.
I moved.
Drives me crazy.
Then you get the superhero guy trying to get money from you. You know what I did yesterday? Fixed
No.
my roof. That was lots of fun. We
Did
had
you
a
get up on the
huge-
roof?
I was a little bit of both. I did some from the ladder. It was around the edge. It blew. When I come outside the other day. I was going to go work on my trailer. I'm trying to get my trailer ready for Course Fest. And the first thing I see is
Tim?
shingles on the ground. I'm like, well, that's not a good sign.
Yeah.
And then I walk over to the side of the house and I look up and my antenna pole, for my mast for my 2 meter that holds my regular antenna up is leaning over the neighbor's house. So I get all that stuff fixed. I wasn't getting anything done I wanted, but yesterday I did get the roof. I went and bought some shingles. I love roofing. It's a fun job. I was
Chuck
so
got
sw-
that once every 10-year wind storm in California.
No,
Yeah.
we get a good windstorm every year, but this one was wind and rain. It was, in fact, I guess we have warnings for tonight. I guess
True.
for flooding
Walt
again.
knows. Walt knows. That's
Supposed to-
the Thanksgiving dinner. That was the first date
Golden
that
Gobbler.
hooked me, Mrs. T.O. We went to Thanksgiving dinner at Wawa.
You went to Wawa together.
Yeah,
For
we went to get
Thanksgiving.
fancy champagne,
Classy.
champagne and Golden Gobbler subs. Because Wawa makes a Thanksgiving sub that is a Thanksgiving dinner on a sub roll. It's fantastic.
Got mashed taters. Got mashed taters on it.
Yes,
Cranberry sauce?
It does.
Cranberry
Got gravy?
sauce,
Got
turkey,
gravy?
mashed potatoes. It is,
Holy cow.
It's the whole thing.
Because someone's real sensitive about his gravy. I'm just,
Can't
I'm
have
just
no
saying,
dry
like, you
ass
need
taters.
the food needs to be appropriately dressed, and a lot of time we like them, but Joe Brett will post pictures with the potatoes that are dry enough to choke a hog.
A piece of toast without butter.
Right.
What do you like on your taters? You got to have gravy on them?
Well, I mean, I'd be
Are
fine.
you talking
with,
mashed potatoes? You
Yeah,
must be
well,
talking
mashed
potatoes.
potato, baked potato, whatever. He'll post it on there.
Fred, it's a long-running inside joke. Welcome to the club.
yep.
It's like drier than desert sand. Some of the stuff
I'll
that
have
he
to check
posts on
those
there.
out. I haven't noticed
I
those.
think you can find it on YouTube.
The sound, yeah. I don't know what she was
The
doing.
video that goes with it.
Yeah.
With what?
He needs some milk.
Or what's Philip?
He needs some milk.
Yeah.
Wow. I guess, do they have those in Huntsville?
Yes. They have what in Huntsville? Wawa's?
Wawas.
I don't think so. Wawa is like Walt's saying Delmarva, Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia. So what it is Wawa
No,
is the
not
name.
true. Not true.
I know. I'm
Aren't
getting
you
there.
going to Florida?
Well, yes, Wawa is the name of the goose from Canada. It's actually the official name. And then there's a town in Pennsylvania
eating.
called Wawa, Pennsylvania, where they had this dairy named after the town. And then they used to have a milk route that was within, cold milk driving distance of the dairy in Wawa. And then it turned into more and more and more and more and more. And as Wawa's distribution improves, their reach expands. And now they're all the way down into Florida.
And Alabama.
Yeah. It's crazy.
But just
Because Alabama is farther south of Florida.
Yeah, they're down in Mobile.
I'd have a hard
Mobile,
time saying it's
County.
better than Bucky's. Bucky's was it was a magical experience going.
Well,
to
you got the
Buc-ee's.
love thing going with Bucky's, I think. That and the
I have
bathrooms.
not been to Bucky's. I need to go.
Ooh, look at this.
Look at that.
Some hot and spicy
spicy.
Bucky's beef
Hot and spicy.
jerky right here.
Send some of that out north, out to the west coast there, buddy.
That's
Or
mine.
test it out.
I work with a guy who had to go to Jacksonville,
Thanks, Joe Brett.
and I'm like,
I
you need to
told you,
get me
Jim.
some Bucky's jerky while you're down there.
We got the detective. You got to watch what you say. 10 Wawa showing in Orlando, but only 3 near a hotel.
Well, that cuts it
Oh
down.
man,
There you
not
go.
Jim.
It's take
Joe,
gonna take
I'm not
long.
going.
Joe, really?
I thought you guys were
Really?
staying at the La Quinta on Mermaid Avenue. Is that
See, there it goes. Done.
Right,
We're out.
right there.
Now we're going to have to get new reservations.
you got to be careful at that La Quinta. You could get crabs. You could get scabies.
I'm
you
hoping
could
I get mermaids.
You
Right.
could get monkeypox.
Mermaid
You
app.
could get bed bugs. You could get
Why else would they
But
call
she
it
said
mermaid?
she
app?
had her
cheese
shots.
disease. You could get cheese disease.
We're
She showed me
sharing
her shot card.
We're sharing with Starlight and I forgot her name.
It's not important.
Yeah, her name. Really, I don't care. So
What about your press passes, boys? Didn't you guys weren't you talking
Oh,
about your
yeah,
press?
they arrived.
yeah, we got press passes now.
Official media credentials.
Yeah, I was saying the other night. I don't think YouTubers really count, and they shouldn't get press passes. But I guess if you're not going to have legitimate media there, then
And the first time he said that, his subscriber count went down, and now he said it again. So you won't be seeing him on the show much longer.
Right.
Maybe go down again.
We're done with him. We're done.
But
Telemundo girl.
Right.
right.
Well, we can pick up a Telemundo girl down on iDrive when we're at Hamcation, so that shouldn't be a problem.
You think?
Yeah, I don't think any are going to talk to you.
Orlando's finest.
But no, that should be a fun time. Do we have anything else that we wanted to cover with the attenuators, or are we good there?
We attenuated out.
Might be.
2 meter, 100 watts.
Bucky's has a camouflage onesie. Did it have it man size?
I'm all about the brisket sandwich, though. I need to try that.
Yeah, the camouflage onesie's actually a glove.
You see Craig's? You see
So we're
Craig up there?
attenuated out.
I don't know. Are we?
Jim's trying to live up there. He's
He's
giving
got the
yeah.
wheeze going on. He's going to have to go get a shot. Didn't they give you like a
Oh,
what are they called, monoclonal antibodies, and you have to get that before?
Chris, our friend Chris, has thrown the gauntlet down. Let's advise. Chris.
I went to the vet. I went to the vet and got some quinine. I'm all good.
Let's advise Clint on a good radio to get started with.
Oh Lord.
Well, I can tell you that 2900, I think it's a 2980 now, is the latest version, is a fantastic 2 meter radio. And mine does, I think, 80 watts, 75, 80 watts or something like that.
I hear they're close to.
I got it right here.
You have a 2980? You have the 28900.
He,
don't
he
you?
likes those tiger
That's
stripes on the
2900.
screen.
I hear they're close to 90 watts at least. I don't know. So Craig said something about 100. So I've
I
never
never
tested
I never
mine.
measured it.
So
Maybe they-
Clint, is there a ham club near you? And if so, what is their repeater made up of? What are the guts of the repeater? Is it a DMR repeater? Is it a D-Star repeater? Is it a Yaesu System Fusion repeater? Is it an analog repeater connected to All-Star or Echo Link? What do you got? What do you got? What do you got? Because that makes a difference.
I would get, if you don't have one, go get a Baofeng.
Because it's cheap. You know, you get to play with it, you get to destroy it, you get to make some mistakes
Right.
and not feel bad about it. The next thing I would remind you of, and you probably know this because you just took the test and passed, is you have privileges on 6 meters and on 10 meters. And I spent some time looking for a good 10 meter radio the other day, and you can get a good 10 meter radio. But for the price of a good 10 meter radio, you can also get a Xiegu G90, which gives you color screen,
Right.
built-in tuner, waterfall display. It's the AK-47 of ham radio, and it's a 20-watt radio, so not bad at all. $25.
Look at that.
Which
And
one
if you
is
want
it,
to,
the
if you
UV5R?
want the UV5R, if you want to get in at the cheapest level, you can. This is a standard AM, well, not AM, FM repeater radio, dual band, VHF and UHF. I think it's got what 5 watts on the top end, I believe.
Yeah, give or take.
give or
But see,
take.
I would say go to Radio Oddity, and they
You can
have
also
the
get that for a few dollars more, which is a hella better radio.
Walt, I think I stole that from Josh at Ham Radio Crash Course.
Still what?
The AK-47 of ham radio.
So I don't know, Ape. What were you going to say? That was my point. I had already looked at their page this morning. I knew that was there.
Radio Oddity has the UVGR or something like that. The one that's spurious emissions free.
Oh, free.
Yeah, that's the one I would recommend. I don't remember which one it is though.
Is that the GD88?
No, it's a UV5R with they claim new
UV5R
firmware
Plus.
filter.
Well, now I have a UV6.
There it is, the GT5R, $26.99. Second row, third one in. That's
Zoom, laser vision. Did you see that? Ape's on fire.
Yeah, that's the one I would get.
Bro can smell a fang from a mile away. It's like
Upgraded legal
it's like
version.
a hound dog.
That's a legal version. Use that other one, boy. You illegal.
Again, that's only $1 more than the one that's on special. The other thing I'd tell you is, like I said, that Yaesu handheld, there wasn't nothing wrong with that either.
Look at that.
And I'm going to tell you, it's a way better radio than a Fang.
I wonder what radio he's taking out there.
It does drift, I'm sure. That's what I heard. What Chuck said
The
about
Yaesu?
his.
Yeah, my Yaesu's they all drift.
Yeah. See, so
Right
I
to
don't
the
know.
best signal. Right to the signals. I think T.O.'s kind of right. If you're looking at just a 10-meter radio, it's just like anything else. It's too much money. I mean, and you're buying from a company that's, there's some decent companies, RCIs.
You got one behind you, Chuck.
Yeah, that's a good radio for a bass. It does about 35 watts.
Who makes that?
That's RCI, I think.
RCI.
Ranger.
Yeah, and I want to say it was like $900 for that, which is why the G90 starts to become interesting. The G90 is around $450, and you get more than just 10 meters, and you get a relatively hard time of getting it on digital modes, but you can get it on digital modes. Oh, Chuck's doing the zoom.
What is on that towel?
Elmo. Cookie Monster.
There it is.
Nice, Chuck. RCI 2980.
Yeah.
Right over his head.
That one, to tell you the truth, a buddy of mine, I was on another site, and he used to repair radios, and that's been gone through. And he goes, I took out your Roger beep and all that stuff, the echo, it's all gone, because he was like, totally
my echo's gone.
He was a ham, and it does about 35 watt. He goes, that is one of the best ones I've seen as far as output. He goes, it's probably the highest output, but it does. I think it does it do 10 and 12 also? 10, 12, and somewhere like that.
It was a blue dress. Nice.
So what is your?
Well, there you go.
It was not a towel.
What do you think about buying like the 10 banders, the export radios and all the 10-meter export radios and all that?
I
kind
think
of
for what
stuff?
you're paying, I mean, you can buy if you want a 100-watt radio, buy the little Yaesu, man. I mean, it does
The
way
891.
more for about the same or less money sometimes.
Well, the thing is that so a lot of these CB radios versus like a legit ham radio, even though you can get a CB radio is a 10-meter export. They their way that their audio chain works is different than a ham radio. It's like one signal path in and out of the radio versus ham has a separate path for transmitting and a separate path for receiving. The other ones generally share a single path. I think I'm saying that right, but I would avoid buying them unless you were going to do something that breaks the law with it.
What was the one I showed you the other day?
We were looking at the I want to say Galaxy, but it wasn't.
It was
It's not
a
they were
Ranger.
Strikers.
It was a
Was it
Ranger. Yeah, Ranger. It was a 2950.
Yeah.
I think is what it was.
So they're talking about the Anytone 6666 in the chat. Mm-hmm. And this is a 10-meter only radio. And the price tag on this is $260. And I would have to manufacture my own dingus to get it onto digital modes. And digital modes for text is what's smoking right now. I mean, you can make lots and lots of DX contacts using FT8.
On 10.
So I would need to fabricate something out of that microphone, or I would need to hybridize something with the external speaker jack in the back. I think that PC cable jack is just for programming.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the case.
Yeah.
I mean, this would get the job done, and you would be seriously hamming harder if you got this.
I mean, I'd rather have that than not have a radio at all.
Right.
But
Right.
this radio is sold for one reason, and that's people convert it into a CB radio, and then that way they get more power.
That's what the
out.
tune-up gets you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when
On
10
that
meters
radio?
when 10 meters got really hot this year, I went out looking for like what's a good 10 meter radio to recommend to people. And the answer to it really comes down to the G90 because for the price tag, you get more than 10 meters. It'll last you a little bit longer. It's got some better features. It's more of a ham radio.
Right.
Oh, you're probably talking about a $29.95 TO. It's like almost $900. That's the bigger version of the one I have.
RCI. They're hard to
But-
find on.
What a good
There it is right
one
there.
is a
$1,000.
2970 is a good portable one. They're $800. I won't.
No, that is a giant box of what in the hell are you thinking?
Well, you're looking at 7,300 money right there, right?
$1,000 for a
Right,
single band
right.
radio, and a 7300
Well,
is
it's
a good first
multiple
radio
bands.
also for a technician, because then you
Or
can
the-
grow into it.
Or the
7300,
710.
yeah.
Yeah, 7,300 or the Yaesu 710.
That is insane kind of money for that.
And then keep in mind that, and we talk about this a lot. Your first radio is not your last radio.
But it could be. But most people
could
won't
be.
be. Like I got the same one. Well, I had the same one T.O. has. A TS430 was my first radio.
Yeah.
I got it for $100, and
Nice.
it had a problem where the volume had to be turned all the way up to hear it. And then one day I was fixing the lights on the meter, and I just touched the speaker wire, and the speaker was loose the whole time. My buddy I guarantee you, he pulled it loose and forgot to plug it.
What's
back
all that
in.
noise? I heard somebody fooling with something electronical.
It wasn't me.
It's probably the door lock on my door. My Mrs. T.O. just
That's
showed.
what it sound. That's what it sounded like.
Yeah. 2 degrees outside, leaving the door open.
How cold is it out there?
2.
F
Now,
that.
see, here's. Now, I have to disagree with EP. Get an Icon 705, only 10 watts.
Oh nope.
Spend $200 less and buy a 991 and have 100 watts.
Yeah,
Oh boy.
I would not buy a 705. I don't have a
Not as
705.
not as a
at
starter
all.
radio.
And not a starter radio.
Yeah,
It's fine.
'Cause
It is fine. It just requires a different skill set and adds a level of frustration. If you don't know what you're doing and you do QRP, you're in for a hurting.
right.
If you know what you're doing and you do QRP, you're in for
Rid
just
of
a
one
little
of the
tiny
best
bit of
solar
pain.
cycles in the last 100 years. You're fine
Yeah,
with
but you do a lot of FT8. And FT8 you can get
FT8's
by with 10
fantastic
watts.
at 10 watts.
Sure.
But if
great
you're
at
going to try
five.
you're going to try sideband, 10 watts can be tough on 10 watt radio.
Yeah.
And if you don't have an extra battery for it, it's only 5 watts.
Plus,
A high
which
of
I,
eight.
I,
I gotta
really
tell you,
feel
man,
that radio is a super premium radio. If you're just starting out, I go back to what T.O. said. Your first radio ain't going to be your last radio. Son, spend a whole lot less money on something that you'll get a little more use out of than that expensive ICOM radio. This is
Well,
from
here's the
someone
thing.
who
No
has
matter
two
what
big ass
radio-
ICOMs sitting over here. I don't
No matter
own a
what you-
705.
No matter what you get, you're going to look at it and you're going to be like, how the hell do I work this thing?
Right.
That's
But
true.
A year from there, you're going to say the same thing.
But
Good
you got
point.
friends over on Toad's Discord, so link at the top of the chat over there. Ask us any questions you want. You know how we work.
And I have a 705 and I like it, but it definitely wouldn't be my first radio or my KX2, unless I was going to specialize in, like the KX2. Maybe if I was going to only specialize in backpacking someplace and using a radio. But you're probably not going to start there, right?
I think Bill's hitting it on the head here. The XP 125 amp on the 705, and you're good to go if you want to run QRP. I wonder how that
But
amp
how much
does
money are you into it
with-
then
Yeah,
the digital
Jesus
modes.
webbed.
it does
can buy-
fine.
for a new guy?
For a new guy, how much is that amp?
So you're
Then
$1,200
think
for the radio and $600 for the amp.
$600 for the amp, $1,800. No, I can buy, like Charles said, a 991A, which is 2 meter 440 digital, so it does fusion and HF. The screen is not as beautiful as the 7300, but the functionality is awesome on
Hold a second.
991A.
That XP 125, that's $600 for that amp.
Yeah, that's actually
crazy. That's
a
crazy.
decent price. Tell you the truth, for an
if
amp.
you're spending $600
100
on an
price.
amp on that radio, it's like no, just no.
Oh,
There's
and
better
that amp has a
options.
tune. That amp has a tuner.
Has
in
a
it too,
tuner.
right?
Built-in
Yeah, it's a
tuner,
tuner
which is
also.
really nice. And then if you get an FT817, 818, I believe I've got all the dinguses to connect it together. It should automatically track the frequency and handle ALC so that it can power up, power down appropriately. And then if you get any of the Zygu radios, the G106, the G90, the X6100, the X5105, it'll switch bands and handle ALC for.
Well, you smoked yours, right?
I did, and then I fixed it. So I smoked it by making a cable, and then when I made the cable, there was 2 wires that were labeled NC for no connect. In the U.S., that's what that means, and apparently in mainland China, what that means is never connect, do not connect. And I connected the do not connect wires, and some diodes and stuff blew inside, transistors. I put a video out.
Yeah,
He did.
I figured.
It's a
Does-
fairly common thing to do.
That amp will also do. It'll just source right off your coax too, won't it, for power?
No.
It won't. What was I reading? I was reading one the other day that it'll.
Where are you gonna get the amperage?
My
The volts.
my little Yaesu, you just hook it to coax and it works.
No power whatsoever. No internal battery. No.
No, I mean it has power. I'm talking. It doesn't
Oh.
need a keyer line. Excuse me.
I
think
don't
it
know.
will.
I've never tried.
The exciter
try that.
cable.
Try it.
I should try that.
Exciter cable, yeah.
The
Which I think
send
is kind of nice
cable.
because no, you know what? It's my Tokyo High Power that does that. I was reading up on it the other day. I didn't realize
I've
it
seen
did
it
that.
at RF Sensing, Palomar,
Sensing.
300 watt amp that did that. When you said no power cable, I'm like, huh?
No, I meant
That,
power on the
um,
radio.
That RA Italy that I got from Vern, it has a
does
selector.
it.
It has a selector on there for the filtering, but it also has one that you can set to auto, so it will detect it. It has a keying circuit though. I don't know if it's auto sensing. I haven't read through. I got
I
to
bet
get
you
that
that
thing set
is
up.
because those are kind of like,
FT450D is a good first radio too.
it is if you can find one now. I mean,
It's a little complex on the user interface side of things, but it's a good radio. Like
Yeah, you said
it'll
one
take you a
used to
hot minute to change the power level.
Well, see the problem with some of these, and I'm not saying the 450D is a fine radio. There's no, it's a good radio. The problem is that when you start talking about radios from 10 or 15, 20 years ago, even excellent pieces of equipment, except digital modes weren't really popular like they are now. So you have to get other stuff in order to be able to do like FT8 or something like that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a very good point.
Craig
That-
Craig has a really interesting point. He says we're giving Clint TMI, too much information, and we are. It's information overload. I mean, like you go to the bowling alley and you don't know how to bowl, and everybody just comes in and collects on you, and it just becomes really overwhelming. But like good starter set, Baofeng, $20, you're in.
yeah, if you're going to do an HF radio, just get a. If you're going to be a tech for a while, get something that does at least 6 meters because that is a band you can use. That's the one thing I don't like about the 718.
Ooh.
It's an older radio, but it doesn't have 6.
Derek says he needs to do a giveaway. Derek, are you going to do that on your channel?
I think he's saying that we need to do a giveaway.
I'm looking for some clarification because we can help a brother out.
Hit me up, brother. Hit me up on.
I think he's
Disco.
saying that we need to do a giveaway.
Well, he said on his TS440. So
Oh, I might
on
have
mine.
messed up.
It
I might
says
have messed
on
up.
slow
mine,
down. I know there's big
TS440.
words up there. Just slow
Stop.
down.
Talk,
There you
put the
go.
glasses
There
on.
you go. Pop. Come on.
Oh, okay, now I see.
Yo, okay.
Those are fine radio. I've got one of those also. I actually, my nephew who's a new ham, what did he have? I don't know even. Oh, he was. I can't
Jim,
remember what
if
he was
Derek
using.
reaches out to you, drop him a show link.
Yeah.
Bring him on here.
I loaned mine to him. I go, just use this until you buy something, I forget what he was using. He had like a little 5-watt radio. Oh, he made one of those Ubitix 40 radios. He's like a little technician, dude.
Yeah.
Probably
think
build his
that-
own radio.
I want to say it's the eight. What was the Thump's got a radio like that. To some guy said, "Hey, just use this thing," and it's been sitting there. It's one of the Asus. It's discontinued. 100 watt. I want to say it's a
857, 897.
897.
897.
That's like
The original
predecessor to the
AK-47
990
ham
one.
radio.
Yeah, it's a
Derek-
nice.
Derek, I
nice
just
radio.
dropped a link in Discord to you. So
And you can
jump
come on and advertise your giveaway
Yeah.
show, or you can come on and give it away. Either way is good with us.
Yeah, we're
Those are good radios. In fact, I used to set when I still have mine here. I used to set it up just to get a different sound because they sound different than the new radios.
All right. Stay tuned, folks. Derek's going to be giving away a TS440 here. It looks like.
That's an awful nice gesture there. Derek.
U.S.
Like,
only,
he's a
right?
stand-up
Is he in the
guy.
U.S.? Is he in the U.S.?
Yeah, he's in Florida.
Yeah, I'd say
Who,
U.S. only.
Derek's in Florida.
Yeah, I met
Derek's
him
in
at
Florida.
Hamcation last year.
Derek, me and T.O. will be at Hamcation this year.
We'll leave that up to him.
T.O. and I. T.O. and I is the way you say that, James.
I live in Alabama, so I just
Oh.
can switch it. I talk so the natives can
Bless your
understand
heart,
me.
8.
We's gonna be at Hamcation.
Be at.
Stephen and I
He's gonna
will
be
be
at.
visiting the Hamcation this year, Derek, and we would love to see you there.
What about Joe Brett? Is he going?
I don't know. Joe Brett, you
Pick
going
him
to
up on the
Hamcation?
way. Yeah.
Joe Brett is not on the way to Hamcation from my house.
I thought you guys like lived across the river or across
No,
the
he's
creek
north.
from each other.
Joe Brett's north.
Joe Brett's like 300 miles away from here.
Yeah, it's like halfway
Northwest.
up, a third of the way up California.
You're going to
It's not
Sports
that far.
Fest, right? Chuck?
I am.
And when is
If
that?
anybody's going, it starts the 22nd
Of February or?
of January.
Oh wow, that's coming
and-
up fast.
There'll be a bunch of YouTubers. Ham Radio 2.0 is going to be there. Adam's going to be there for a day or so. It sounds like my buddy Javi's going to. Him and I always go together. It was kind of funny because I don't think Jason wants me to save my spot, and I was like, it's just a desert, dude. There's plenty of spots.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I
Over
thought
there.
he thought it was more of a campground.
Yeah, save me a spot, son. So
You
what are you
just
supposed to
park.
do? Stand out there all day when
think
somebody pulls
I-
up and be like, whoa, whoa,
No,
whoa,
I-
whoa, 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 whoa.
Cones.
I think he
Traffic
just wants to
cones.
make sure we have enough so we can get like a little
He wants to
covered
be cozy.
wagon thing going on.
Somebody mentioned in the chat that there was a, yep, there it is. EP mentioned there's a 570D G for 600 on eBay, and that is a great radio.
Yeah, the
Nice.
only
I have
concern,
one.
on the topic at hand is that it doesn't go above 29 megahertz.
So it
So
doesn't
it will
do
not
6
get you 10 or
meters.
6.
Oh, it
No,
doesn't
10
get
is
you
29,
10.
isn't
Gets
it?
you 10.
10.
Yeah, you
10
get
is
was
good.
28.
10's
What was
good.
I thinking?
Yeah, the older radios didn't do 6.
Yeah.
My 430, my 440. I'd say that's the only drawback for a new ham that's a technician because that is.
I've never
but it's
used
not
6
always
one
there
time.
anyhow.
James
10,
is
though,
correct.
10 is awesome.
The Jumpstart program for new hams is still going on. If you go to QRZ.com, Gigaparts and QRZ have teamed up together to give away an HT to new technicians who were licensed within the last 30 days or something along those lines. Go to their site for all of the specific legalese details, but you just go over there, you say, I got my new ticket, and fill out the form, and they ship you a very nice handy-talkie that Jim and I have both had hands on, and
Yep.
absolutely clean,
The handy
fantastic.
talkie, right?
Yeah. I made
Not on each
a
other.
50-plus mile contact on the top of Montesano to the other side of Huntsville.
And it is a super clean radio. The output on it was beautiful.
This is the one
brand-
that they
what brand is
invented
it?
just for new hams.
yeah.
What brand is it?
All right, so I think it's a rebadged TYT or something like
Derek-
that.
It's
Derek
it's
is
a
not going to be.
TYT.
Derek is not going to make it. He's on the DL as well.
Okay, so here's where this gets a little interesting. I'm gonna. I don't know how to ask this out loud, so I'll just ask it out loud anyway, and y'all can figure out what I'm talking about. We have a new ham in the chat, and Derek has a radio to give away. Should we just take a poll of the chat? Does this new
Yeah.
radio go to Clint, or are we doing a full-on giveaway and then letting the winner decide? Put Clint's name in the chat if you want to.
Well, I think that's up to Derek. I mean, it's
Yeah, I
Derek's
would say
radio.
Derek said giveaway. So are we doing a giveaway, or are we doing it's going to Clint?
I'm a
giveaway?
new ham.
You haven't been new since 1984.
Listen, we
Shine
can't tell
done
Clint.
worn off of you.
We can't tell Clint that he's getting a radio, and then Derek changed his mind, and then we got to give him a radio. Unless Tio, you got a stack of them over there.
We're working on chat logic here. Derek's sick in bed. Jim's sick on stream, and the two of them are working these details out. Everybody's seeing what's going on.
Well,
I
it
think
looks
Clint's
like
getting a new radio.
I think like Clint's getting the radio. Abe, oh Phil, no, oh hell no.
I think Phil is
Negative.
right.
You high on cough syrup or something, Phil? No,
Yeah. You don't have a license, son.
that's right. Abe can't use it anyway.
You don't need a license on 7200. Everybody, I've been
That's
telling
right.
you that for.
All right, Derek's in. Looks like the vote is for Clint.
Derek, that's awesome, bro.
So if you
Derek,
guys have
we will,
not seen
Derek,
Derek's
we
channel,
will. Well, go ahead. I was going to figure out the postage. I was going to tell Derek. We'll send him the. We'll get Clint's address.
Do we have to make him win it though?
Hold on a second, guys.
he
I'll be
did.
right
He
back.
just did win it.
Derek, we will send you the postage. I will shoot you the postage today for you to ship the radio to Clint. If you can give me an idea what kind of box you're going to put it in.
We'll work that out behind the scenes. We'll have our people call your people.
Right.
Or people will be in contact.
All right, awesome. So if you guys haven't subscribed to Derek's channel yet, I just dropped a link to that over in the chat over there. And
Marty.
Derek does all kinds. Like Derek is who we go to when we need to know more about oscilloscopes and
Derek's way
VNAs
smarter than us.
and spectrum analyzers and test equipment. And Derek also does videos for Element 14.
What happened?
I don't know. Just got quiet all of a sudden.
Are you having a stroke?
Me? No. I was just done talking.
No,
Well,
I
you
was
said
looking.
element
I was
14, and then your tone indicated you were going to
Something
continue.
weird happened in the sound on the stream, so I was like, okay, somebody's trying to
Can
tell
you
me.
hold out both hands, and they need to stay level? Okay. All right.
Close your eyes.
well, one's kind of
That's
doing
right,
a U-turn, but no, I was looking. I
Don't
have
use
an
the Jim
AMRAD
Perry
podcast.
The Jim Perry camera. Don't use that one.
Oh, shit.
The gimbal.
I have an
Jimbo.
AMRAD podcast sticker.
Sticker.
I was
Oh,
I
is
was
that
just
what
looking
you're
at my stickers, and it's not there, but I have one here. I got to find it, and I have no idea how it got here. And like I didn't realize what it was, and then when we started hanging around with Derek, I was like, wait a minute, I got that sticker.
The ham community
Oh, I don't want that one. There we go.
gets it started on
We're
one.
getting some postage help too. This is awesome. That's not a light radio, so this is definitely helpful.
Yeah, that's
No,
going
it's
to be.
not a light radio.
He needs some milk.
Thank
It's
you
not
guys.
SDR. It's not SDR
Well,
radio.
Got two dances. Man.
35.
Oh, Lord, there's
and it's
another
got
one.
another one.
There it is. We got to wait for it to show up in StreamYard before we can link it on the show because there's a
Yeah.
delay
Yeah.
there for who knows
Sometimes
what
it doesn't show up for some reason.
You got another?
I don't know. Dance, you crazy hams.
He needs some milk.
That's awesome.
Oh, my Lord. Thank you guys very much. Awesome. Dang. Derek, we covering the
overheated here a
postage too, brother. Well, we're
Only
gonna
about
do that anyway,
$55 to cover that postage, no problem. Yeah, we'll just give him cash at Ham. Well, one of you guys will have to give him cash at Ham.
Oh, Jim said he's going to print out a shipping label.
but- Yeah, I'm going to do a shipping label and send it to him.
There we go.
He said he gave him out the TO, but I don't think it's. I think I've had it before. I don't know.
The stickers?
I think
Yeah.
I got one.
Yeah.
I don't remember getting one.
You're right. I need a donut, Hollywood.
Boys, are we feeling generous today?
What do you want to?
We got to
no,
get him a
but-
card.
I got to pee. I think we should.
I'm already going to
I'm
the post
fine
office.
giving him a Cartena, but after that we got to wrap it up because I have to take a whiz.
I've got to drain. Yes,
We're
I got to pee.
starting early.
Got to
Not perfect.
urinize. Yeah, so we'll get Clint's contact information if we don't have it already, and we'll get you a Cartena. If you need help, join Toads, and we have a section on the Cartena
Do it
if you
quick.
have any
Do
questions
it.
building it.
And do it quick because I'm going to the post office today for another one, so I can get it out today.
Yeah,
I'll-
Clint, hit us up on Toad's Discord. We got to figure out your address.
It's linked at the top and in the description.
many
It's like S46 right now.
Well, because that's
It's
salt water.
S50.
That's salt water. So it's got some gain. Ask Walt.
He needs
That's
to let
right.
us know which antenna he'd prefer also if he wants to, or we'll just send him Apollo.
Hey, good luck today, Walt.
If he's
Well,
new
he's
hand,
going to
maybe the
be
Apollo's a
10
little bit
and
easier.
6. So he could do
Well,
10
that
and 6
radio
on the
won't do
Mercury.
6.
No, but if he gets another radio.
He's asking about the power supplies, the MFJ 4230 DMP.
There you go.
R&L sells several decent power supplies as well. Their own brand. That's what I've got out in the shop. I can't remember the model number on it. I don't think it was very expensive though.
I had a Linko clone that I liked a lot, but I killed it on the FT8 one night, I think. I never heard the thing
guys
ever run.
are
before.
amazing.
Yeah.
We got
Thanks
a new
to
ham.
everybody in chat.
We got a new radio. We got a new antenna. We got shipping covered. You guys are absolutely awesome. Fantastic.
All right,
That's fantastic stuff.
boys. Thank you very much for coming. Appreciate it. Always hit us up on Discord. We'll be glad to be there. Ape will answer all your questions personally all the time.
Thanks, everybody.
He does.
Hit
Thanks
the
all.
button.